go over here. Y'all give me just a minute, please. Then I'm going to try to do this. All right, just a moment. We're going to start in a minute. I'm trying to get myself together. I think I'm going to have to start saying a little prayer before I start because, man, uh, things get kind of hectic for me. I got so many things to do, and sometimes my mind gets overwhelmed. So I think it's time for me to start praying, which I do it in my mind anyway. But I thank y'all for tuning in. Let me get this up on the screen if I can. I'm trying to work another computer today, so I thank y'all for tuning in. I'm going to play the intro in a minute, then we're going to get started. I apologize for not being able to really look at all of the different platforms that I have up. But I'm trying to get my Facebook platform over here so I can see, but it is not coming up the way I want it to. So what I'm going to do, okay, there it is, but it's running kind of slow. I just wanted to make sure I turn the volume down. Okay. And then I want to do this. So here we go. Let's start. Intro. Yes, yes. Thank everybody for tuning into this installment of Telling It Like It Is with Jamil Salib Zamir out of Manning, South Carolina. Shout out to Dale Castro Powell, taking a little hiatus for a minute, and hope that he's enjoying himself with his family. Um, if you have any questions or comments, please leave them on the board. I'm going to take my time today because I'm really kind of discombobulated on this one. So many things going on community wise. And then, even though you have other things going on outside, you still have to try and perform inside as well. If you like the shirt, this is a custom design shirt, Black Panther shirt with all of the Black Panther members and stuff on the shirt. Custom made long sleeve, Jamil Salib Zamir on the sleeve. This is a $50 shirt. May go up to $60, all depends. It also has Black Panther members on the back of the shirt as well. So this is in remembrance of Black. I told my son I was going to stop using history and say heritage of Black Heritage Month. So we're going to get started today. We got a whole lot to talk about. I want to say this first of all. A lot of people are complaining now that their pages are being hacked and that they are losing their pages. They're being reported, and they have, a lot of members on their page. They're being reported, and all of the members end up, they have to start over their page. Well, I was saying this last year when I was going through last year. And I was telling you that the way the system is set up, what they're doing is they're not only the people who they want to go up, go up. Anybody that goes beyond that, they can shut you down. Same thing with the stock market or anything. What we should have done at that point was to rally together and try to figure out a way to work together. But now, as always, individually, we are being broken down individually. Everybody, they hacking my page, they hacking my page, they shut down my page, they shut down my page. But if we had come together as a collective, we could have had at least a viable solution to this problem prior to it getting as difficult as it is. So I don't feel anything for you because, we choose who we want to choose to help and not help. And in doing that, we are losing in the long run. So today's topic, I want to talk about something that someone and I were talking about, and I was trying to explain my point of view with this situation, because we are in an era now where the young boys and young girls misunderstanding a lot is labeling everybody a snitch. You a snitch, you a snitch. Well, when you call someone a snitch, you better be ready to deal with the aftermath of putting a person on the books as being a snitch because you say so. It's a lot comes with that. You saw that with the late Nipsey Hussle. By just calling this person a snitch, they came back and they killed him. So when we start using that term snitch, especially you don't even know where push your wig back comes from. You don't know the terminology. You just follow along. We're in a very dangerous time today. And to all of the people, especially parents who know better and don't do better, you're putting your children on the firing line by not teaching them how to maneuver through life in this time period that we are in. Got that out of the way. Now I want to say this. I've been on Facebook and social media since 2006. And now a lot of you are trying to insinuate that all I do is talk on the internet, that I don't do anything. When there was no internet, we were out in front of John Bonnie in Sumter, on the south side of Sumter, as Muslims with bow ties on and suits on, with the Final Call newspaper, getting our people off the street, giving them knowledge of God. That we were doing that before the internet. Before the internet, we were at the Sumter Resource Center. We had study group every Friday night. We invited people out every Friday night. We helped to find jobs. We helped in the school system. We were the only group of people in King Street school system working with troubled children. We had free all access passes to King Street High School. We worked with the principal there. We had doctors. We had lawyers. We had businessmen. We worked with Betty Ropers and your Jeff Blacks. We were here in Clarendon County doing that. This is all true. I worked with the Clemson Exchange. We were teaching young boys how to cook and how to sew. Ask my sons. They thought their daddy was the biggest square because he wasn't out there doing what everybody else was doing, but I was trying to prepare them for life, teaching them how to cook for themselves, how to sew, how to do things for themselves, how to communicate, how to fill out resumes at the Clemson Exchange right downtown. We worked with Camp Bob Cooper. Every Saturday morning, we were out there with troubled children, hands on, in the paint. Every Friday at the old Head Start, we had meetings every Friday for the children to come from Manning High School to come over to the Head Start before they started partying and air out their problems of the day, their fears about their grades, their problems at home. We were doing that. People on the old school station in Sumter, South Carolina, every Sunday morning. We were there. We broadcast every Sunday. We were across town, bow ties, suits, Final Call newspapers. We were right there at, it was a store on the corner coming into Manning. I can't remember his name. His name is Clarence Wheeler at Clarence's store. It's gone now. But we were there. I sold Final Calls there, and I sold marijuana there. So we were in the paint. We were in it. But when you are out there on the street like that, and your people are becoming more and more savage, and you got to bring more and more soldiers just to get out and talk to your own people, someone has to digress. Someone has to pull back. So we pull back. But I don't remember none of you out there. Everybody got their black power fists up now because it's popular. It's the thing to do. But I don't remember none of you out there. We were on the south side of Sumter. We were in Somerton. We were in Lynchburg, Orangeburg, Charleston, Columbia. We built 4 mosques here. We did that. The Brotherhood did that. I ain't lying to you. I helped ministers. There were ministers who had woman problems, who had drug problems. They came to us. We talked to them. We helped them. We never revealed their information. Not never. We're talking about snitching today, but I just wanted to point this out because some of you you think I just sit in front of a microphone. This is for my safety, man. Y'all ain't looking after me like that. Black power and white power to all of those who do look out for me, who do hit me up, who do say I got your back. I appreciate it from the depths of my heart. And I thank Almighty God, Allah, that y'all see fit to look out for somebody like me. I appreciate it. But everyone doesn't feel the same way. So when you start giving me suggestions as to what I should be doing, let me see you in front of me, not behind me, because I don't want nobody behind me. Y'all are funny that way. I don't trust nobody behind me. Get in front of me or beside me, and then tell me what to do. Tell us what to do. Okay? That's out of the way. Now I got a bunch of not upset now. I got a bunch of stuff that I had to write down because I was walking. And I want to, the subject today is Black history, street code, and betrayal. And excuse my language, but it's the P word, Pussy, and pride, the art of storytelling. And the reason I put the art of storytelling is because a lot of people telling y'all lies, man. They're telling y'all lie about their credentials. And just yesterday, I talked with a lawyer, and I got it very clear how the system works when it comes to someone who says, I got the paperwork. Ain't no paperwork say that I snitch. I got the paperwork. I got the paperwork from a lawyer who explained to me how that works, okay? Because everybody that you think is thorough ain't thorough. Not as thorough as you think. So we're going to go into this thing. I want to bring the scenario of Nicky Barnes to the table. Because the gentleman I was talking to, my right-hand man, what's going on, D? I was explaining to him, nah, Nicky had extenuating circumstances in what he did. Because most of you all are killing and most of you all are fighting and telling because of coochie, because of a woman. I had a brother to call me from Rikers Island, from Manning. He's from Manning, but he called me from Rikers Island. And he said, brother, most of the men in here, they thorough. They could do the prison time easy. He said, but the thing that has them telling is coochie. They don't want nobody messing with their girl while they locked up. All right, that's just the start of it. Now, I want to point this out, something about Manning. We're in Manning right now, Clarendon County, and surrounding areas. And we take our cue from Chicago, Detroit. We take our cue from New York, from Atlanta, from different states. I just wanted to statistically say this. Over 2 million blacks in New York. Over 2 million black people in New York, collectively, more probably. And they have not produced one black senator. Not one. Not one. Collectively get together and vote in a black senator, not just a black-skinned senator, but even a white senator, Italian senator, transgender senator, or gay senator who is equal across the board for all races. Never did it. Never did it. So numbers don't matter when you're not unified. Numbers don't matter when someone has underlying intentions for you, but you will never find out about the underlying intentions until you're so deep into the paint, man, that you literally cannot turn around. So New York, Chicago, Detroit, all of these cities that we glamorize and glorify for murder, for killing, for the destruction of communities. Detroit, certain parts of Detroit, the police won't even go. All of this because of drugs, all of this because of violence. Now the people are trying to buy back those places. Detroit still has contaminated water. With all of the money and flash and flare and the stacks of dollars, Chicago, contaminated water, horrible housing conditions. But a few people make it out, and they make it out off of murder. And we glamorize the murderers. Not only us, but this is social programming. We're talking about snitching. We're getting to that. Give me a minute. We glamorize the murderers. The murderers get rewarded for murder. And now because they made money and have money, we forget about the parents whose child died. I remember when Tookie Williams was being executed. Now, I don't know Tookie. I don't have anything to do with, I'm a civ. I'm a civilian. I'm not an op. I'm not in the paint like that. I am a civilian, a man of Allah. I'm one of Allah's men. So I'm not getting into all of that. You talk about my set. I don't know nothing about your set. I'm talking about circumstances. When Tookie was being executed, Tookie had reformed. Tookie saw all of the things that he had done, and he was reformed. And he, in his mind, he was reformed. So he was talking from the prisons, saying all these things we did, and we don't own anything. We don't have anything. You know, all of us are in prison. He was reformed. Because he was reformed, Tookie had to go. No way we can allow you to stay with the power you have and teach these people in prison, because one day they might get out and elevate on what you said. The government of the United States under J. Edgar Hoover said that the key to keeping America safe was to stop the rise of a black messiah. They thought it was Malcolm. He's dead. They thought it was Martin. He's dead. They thought it was Huey. He's dead. They thought it was the Black Panther Party. They're dead. So if it's someone they can't control, you're going to die. So when Tookie was being murdered, they made a documentary. When Tookie was being executed, they made a documentary. And there's this young homosexual. And he was talking about how Tookie had terrorized him all of his life. And he went into detail about the pain and hurt and fear that he felt from being terrorized. And he was crying, man. This man was crying like a baby. And he said, I'm not upset that he died. I don't care that he's dying. He hurt me. But today, we are glamorizing the murderers. And the social programming is to glamorize the murderers. We're going to talk about that one day very soon. But I want to say this, and then we're going to get into the topic. I'm not in a rush to get into it, because it's not going to take that long. The Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught us that his best followers are still on the street. What he meant by that is that once you have experienced so many things, you can be a better example to the people coming up, because they can't say you don't understand because you went through it. So in the eyes of Allah God, no one is more important or more powerful than an effective, reformed gangster or street person. An effective, reformed street person is more valuable to God than 100 preachers who never been through nothing, who just telling you good things. So the Bible talks about these in Isaiah, about these people who only tell you good things and prophesy deceit to you. They aren't of the same value as a person who's been through it. But when a person goes through it and glamorizes it, that's different. They're continuing the frequency of the negativity. So I want to give recognition to Mob James and MC8. I can't remember. They're on iHeart Radio, and it's another gentleman with them too, OG, and they have a show called the Mob Chronicles. Mob Chronicles. If you haven't checked it out, man, check it out. Mob James is going. He's not Mob James anymore. He's changed his name back to his regular name, but he used the suit, Mob James, so you know who he is. But he goes into detail about how he became a savage. Mob James. He talks about how he became a savage, how he talked to his moms, how he fight his dad, how he would shoot anybody. He just was an animal. And he goes into the psychological detail of how he became an animal. And he said that no psychiatrist or psychologist could understand him because they didn't go through what he went through. The dudes on the street understood him. So they were his psychiatrists and psychologists. And now Allah is. So he's sharing that information. I have to give recognition to Charleston White. I don't know exactly what his position is, because he hate everybody but himself. But in what he's doing is quality. See, when he was doing it off the books, we're talking about Snitch, but I got to get this out. When Charleston White was doing it off the books and just doing it for the love, nobody helped the man. So he was running around trying to get things done on his own, with the exception of some street folk trying to help him. But when he became a controversial internet figure, just started talking trash, he's a six-figure dude now. And without that money, he can't further his efforts to, what's the word I'm looking for? To reform young people. But he was in the paint, man. He used to go to court and all this stuff for young people. He said sometimes these young boys' parents would be partying or drugged out, but he would be in court fighting for their freedom. That's a soldier. I don't know what his thing is now because he's a little too out there. And the same thing with a Camel guy. He's a little too out there. So once you get up in numbers, I get kind of suspicious, man. I don't know how you're moving after that. You know, rather you moving straight or you moving crooked, I don't know. But I want you all to think about a mother or a father or a child before we get started whose child has been murdered, or brother or sister has been murdered, and they're traumatized. Then this person who committed the murder ends up getting a record deal with stacks of money and talking all kind of do you know in Chicago where everybody's talking about smoking on a Tuka pack, where you think that's cute to say? Do you know every time his mother hears that, she breaks down in tears? Do you know she begged Little Durk and them to stop saying that? Stop saying that. Stop bringing up my son. And I think Little Durk actually said he wouldn't speak of the dead anymore like that in his music. Because every day this woman was dying from the pain of people making mockery of her child. And in Manning, South Carolina right now, there are at least 3 mothers that I know who are dying from the pain of the murderer of their children not being found. And one was found recently, but showed no remorse. Now let's get into the subject. I was talking to an associate of mine, and we were talking about snitching. And I was explaining to him that for you all to talk about the paperwork and how you have the paperwork on a person that they never snitched, that's a false flag. So I spoke with a lawyer on yesterday. I'm going to say this first. I spoke with the lawyer on yesterday. When you are in the interrogation room without a lawyer, they will say you have read your Miranda rights. You have a right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in the court of law. You have a right to an attorney. If you can't afford an attorney, one will be appointed to you. Would you like to speak to us? No. That's the end of the conversation. But if you have something you want to say, they turn on the camera, they turn on the tape recorder, and they write down your statement in their own words. And when you are finished talking, they slide that over to you and you sign that paperwork. When you go to court, they say, Jamil said this and we have it on record. Do you understand what I'm saying? That's what they're saying, the paperwork. But if you come in there, the interrogation room, with a lawyer, you say, I know, I want to be represented by a lawyer. And you say, I got something to say, and I tell you, and the lawyer say, whoop, stop right there. We want this off the record. We want your guarantee that this will not be presented in the court. If this leads to the capture of the person that you're looking for, that it will be expunged from the record that he didn't say a word. Turn off the recorder, turn off the video, and don't write nothing down. Put everything down. Now go ahead and talk. Now he says, yeah, I was there. I did this, and Jamil did that, and Jamil threw the gun in the river, and Jamil did this, and Jamil did that. That's what y'all call a snitch. But it's not on record. It's not on record because he had a lawyer present who said he'll say it off the record. So now this person is off the record. telling. You'll never know that he told. Then they say, well, you still got to get you get 25 to life with the possibility of parole in 15 years, in 10 years. Okay, I'll take that deal. That's better than death. That's better than life in prison without the possibility of parole. Do y'all understand what I'm saying? So I'm talking with a gentleman. What I'm saying is, in words, there are people that you run with who tell you they never snitched, but they did. They did tell, but it's not on record. Now, here's the street code from Jamil. I'm standing talking to a young brother, right? Somebody pulls up, bam, pops him in the head, points the gun at me and say, nigga, you saw something? Nah, I ain't see nothing, right? That's a contract between me and that dude right there on the spot. He spared my life, and I'm telling him, you ain't got to worry about me telling because you spared my life. That is a contract. If I break that, even though I wasn't involved in it, I was just standing there, but he didn't take my life. I can't tell. And if I decide to tell, I got to go to this dude and say, look, man, damn, I got to tell, man. You know what I mean? And whatever falls from that, falls from that. Do you understand what I'm saying? But I made a contract with this man when I looked at him and said, I ain't see nothing. And most of us have done that. And if you solid, which most people know that I'm pretty damn solid, I ain't see nothing. All right. We're talking about Black history, the street code, and betrayal. We're talking about the power of PUSSY and the destructive power of pride. We're almost done. We really are almost done. I'm going to give you a scenario. When my ex-wife left me, I lived across town in Manning. A young lady found out I was alone. Actually, many of them, you know, they come by, they bring me food, they do whatever. But there was something special about the way she brought the food. And she'd come there and sit just like this, watch me eat the food, and I'm looking at her like, I ain't gonna eat this food. I don't know you bring this food. You know what I mean? But I appreciated the attention. She ain't come for nothing. She just came to be a companion. Most of the women that came over there, they either wanted my wee-wee or they wanted to say that I was with them. I don't know you. But this one was different. I'm making a point now because I'm getting into Nicky Barnes and Shanika and his girlfriend and Guy Fisher and what happened with them. She told me she had a boyfriend. They lived together, but he was in prison. I was about to leave across town. I didn't know where I was going to go. She said, you could come live with me. Nah, I ain't coming to live with you because you got a boyfriend and he in prison. I ain't coming over there. That dude come out, man, and wild out on me. Well, I'll tell him you living there. So she comes back one day and she says, I told him you're going to be staying with me. And I said, what'd he say? He said, it's cool. He want to see you, though. I never went to see the guy. But I told her to tell him, if he doesn't want me there, I won't be there. He said, nah, it's cool. With the understanding. I know she can't be alone. I know she need this, need that, need affection, need love, need all that stuff. But when I get out of prison, you got to go. That was the deal. So a year before he got out of prison, I was gone. But I got his okay. Y'all remember Minister Society? When cocaine and his father figure, man, he like, man, when I was growing up, you was like a father figure to me, man. And he said, go with Ronnie King. I know how she feel about you. That was his girl. That was his son. But he told his little homie, yeah, go with her. He got the go ahead. He got the okay. You understand what I'm saying? All right. Nicky Barnes, we going in. In the 70s, the 80s, man, Nicky Barnes ran Harlem. Ran it. Nicky Barnes employed a driver, the driver named Guy Fisher. Guy Fisher came in under Nicky. He just used to drive Nicky around. But Nicky saw something in Guy. So Nicky showed Guy the whole game. He taught Guy the game, the whole setup, everything. And after he taught him the game, Nicky, arrogant as he was, he had a girlfriend named Shamika, I think. After Nicky taught Guy the game, it was Nicky. Let me see if I got their names. I think I have their names. I don't want to make no mistakes. I hope I have their names. No, I don't have their names. But it was Nicky. Nicky was in it, and Guy Fisher was in it. It was 7 of them all together. Okay, here, yeah, I got it. Here we go. I'm making a point. Says the council address, it says Barnes eventually, okay, no. Says the council addressed such business issues as what drug suppliers to use, how to handle any difficult situations or people. Barnes, however, maintained veto power over the group's decision. Prominent members of the council included Frank James, Ishmael Muhammad, Joseph Jazz Hayden, Thomas Gaps Foreman, and Guy Fisher. The group's motto, according to Barnes, was treat my brother as I treat myself. Now, for many of you that don't know it, a lot of your street organizations took their code from Islam, from the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, who taught Clarence 13X, who took Islam to the street and what is called the 5% nation, and what they now call the nation of the gods in the earth. But the 5% nation, you saw them on the wire. They were just gangsters doing gangster stuff in the name of Allah. So treat your brother as you treat yourself is one of the laws that we go under. Groups like Young Boys Incorporated and other groups, they went under this code. But there's no honor among thieves. There's no honor among thieves. So Nicky Barnes taught Guy Fisher. Nicky Barnes had a girlfriend named Shamika. She was in it with him. She was down deep in it. And you got a woman like that amongst the crew, you always have to have a code. And Nicky Barnes and the Council of 7, the Syndicate, they wrote up a code. And the code and that they agreed upon, one of the main things they agreed upon is that none of the members of the group, the council, none of them would mess with each other's wives, and none of them would mess with each other's mistress. Don't mess with each other's wives. Don't mess with each other's mistress. That was the code they went by. So as long as we are following the code that we wrote, the rules that we agreed to, then we are brothers. We're in this together. Now, mind you, when it comes to a woman, look, man, a woman wants to try, most women out in that kind of life, they kind of want to try every penis they can get their hands on. So naturally, if you got a mistress, she might step out and she may do some things that you wouldn't approve of. I'm gonna finish this, but I got to bring another one of my stories into the mix, and my children will bear witness to it. They don't know why it happened, but they saw it happen. I had this friend, and when you have a person you call a friend, you already got a hidden code that says, I don't mess with nothing of yours, you don't mess with nothing of mine. We break that code because when I was in the street in 80s across town, people were sleeping with each other's mamas, young boys with mamas and sisters, and man, it was a mess. And that's why most people can't get along today, because we remember all of that pain that we caused. But I had this guy that I went to school with. I called him a friend. And based on how my ex-wife was acting, based on the way he acted, I had a dream one night. In that dream, I saw him having relations with my ex-wife. Now, any of you know me, you know, boy, I don't like nobody to get over on me, man. I might not, my mother used to say it, I'm going to get you. I might not get you today, might not get you tomorrow. You definitely won't know it's me that got you, but I'm going to get you. That's in my soul. That's just the way we are. We just do it like that, you know? So I was going to get that guy. It was a couple of years later. I'm talking about the Nicky Barnes story. I'm talking about Shamika, and I'm talking about how women can get you into some mess. Now, his girlfriend was friends. I don't know how they became friends, associates, with my ex-wife. She was my wife at the time. And the whole time she coming to the house, I'm looking at her like, yeah, I'm going to get inside of her. Pardon my language, but I wasn't even attracted to her. But I was going to get inside of her. And even worse, if I could have vaginal sex with her, but if I could have anal sex with her, I could control her. I'm going to get her. I'm going to pay him back for what he did. That's my mindset. I'm going to get him. Cool. So she stayed at the house one night. You know, I could feel the vibe, but I'm like, okay, I ain't going to shoot my shot. I'm in the house. So probably a few later, I went to their house. He wasn't home. I shoot my shot. She like, you know, my cycle is on now, but if it wasn't, I get with you. I'm like, cool. That's all I need to hear. About a week later, I'm in the yard playing with my children at my house. Four cars come pulling down the road, pull up in my yard. Probably 4 people in 2 cars, 2 people in the other one, and then this dude and his girl and another dude in the back seat. I'm making a point. I'm making a point of how a woman can mess up things real easy. So when he pulled up, I'm looking at her like, yeah, you know, we got this thing happening. He pops out the car. You trying to F my girl? So when he came out the car and I'm flashing back to Nick, you F my what? My wife. What is you talking about? So he come towards me and boom, I kicked him in the chest. My sons they remember because they was young then, but they was out there saying, get him, daddy, get him, daddy. He came back again. Boom, I kicked him in the chest. He fell into the car. Little dude, like fell into the car, right? Whole time I'm pissed off now. I'm looking at all these dudes. So I ran and just a stupid thing, but he could have pulled a gun out because I'm kicking him back to the car, but I'm so upset. I go and grab the shovel. And I ran toward this dude's car, and he's saying, Keith, hey, yo, Keith, I ain't know nothing about it, man. Don't do it. Don't break my windows. So I'm looking at him like, yeah, you ain't know nothing about it. So I back away. Whole time, this chick is in the car smiling. I got these niggas fighting over me. She beat me at the game. Nicky Barnes and his mistress, Shamika, he had a baby with this woman. She was thinking to paint with him. She set up other dealers and had them murdered. It's on record. They were at a party one night. She got them to put their guns down and go out on the dance floor, and boy, they was rocking and boom, boom. So that's his main chick. Nicky gets arrested. Nicky is on a life sentence. But he's fighting the case. And the council is supposed to back up their man. But they already got certain feelings. Not only the council, but at least 120 soldiers involved as well. Making a point about this snitch thing. How y'all calibrate a snitch. There's some on record that told, and there's some not on record, and they told. Word gets back to Nicky that his girl is laying with Guy Fisher. Now, Guy Fisher, the Apollo Theater, the famous Apollo Theater, that Guy Fisher bought, that was his place. It's not any longer. They sold it. But he owned that. Very, very wise businessman. In fact, when he got incarcerated, he got a PhD. So now he's Dr. Fisher. He's got a PhD in sociology, I think. He's written several books. He's on the lecture circuit. So Barnes, finding out that not only did Guy break the code, but the other members knew that Guy was messing around with his chick. Barnes is in prison for the rest of his life, so he devised a plan. I'm going to get him. he decides to turn state evidence. You can look it up for yourself. They bring him into court. He got a bag over his head. Everybody knows it's Nicky Barnes. But after a while, he takes the bag off and he starts pointing fingers. He, him, them, they, all of them. So everybody ended up, he got indictments on at least 120 of the members of the council, not only the founding members, but 120 of the foot soldiers as well. Nicky Barnes died in 2012 under witness protection. Nobody even know he died. We just find out he died this year, I think, or last year maybe. Guy Fisher. Y'all excuse my phone ringing. I have to stop that. Guy Fisher was indicted on a life sentence without the possibility of parole. But last year or this year, all of a sudden, Guy Fisher gets out on parole. There's no record on record that he told anything. But how do you go off of a life sentence and all of a sudden be on parole? They're saying it's because he was an exemplary prisoner. I can agree with that. But I'm looking for two names right now. And just give me a minute and we almost done. I can agree with them saying he was a model prisoner. Okay. But there are young boys in prison who only sold marijuana. No drug, no murder crimes, no nothing on their record. All they did was sold marijuana. And they still in prison for the rest of their life. I am an advocate. I hate the smell of marijuana. But I don't think them brothers should be in prison for the rest of their life. And I honestly believe, as I said before, if there's a way to help these young brothers understand the chemical growth of marijuana, they should be compensated for that prison time by allowing them to open up a dispensary, showing them how to do business, and allowing them to get into the medical marijuana field. And if they break that by violating, then send them back to jail, but give them a chance first. I just can't smell the stuff. It does. I got heart problems and lung problems. I can't deal with it. It's just too much. And if you can allow Guy Fisher out, murdering gangster, reformed gangster, why is Jeff Fort still in prison? Why is Chief Larry Hoover still in prison? They've proven over the years that they are reformed. They've written books. They've written material to encourage the young people to turn from their ways and you how to buy hotels, and they showed you how to take your money and do positive things with. This whole country is built on dirty money. So why is Guy Fisher out and not Jeff Fort, Abdul Malik Kaba, and not Larry Hoover? They're in their old age. Why won't they be allowed to get out too? So that the young ones can see these people in the flesh. So when you talk about snitching, be careful how you label a person. Because if you in my neighborhood and you doing something that's affecting my family, and I put on record that you did it, I ain't telling on you. I'm making a record of the fact that you're doing something that could be harmful to me and my family. So whatever comes after that, they'll say, well, you're saying that they did this and this. Where's the record of you complaining? Oh, you complained this day? Oh, okay. All right, then, okay, then. Okay, you're on record for saying that. So there were rules in place with Nicky and the council. They broke them. I remember, and this is my last story and I'm going to close. Women are a problem for me. I don't trust women. My mother betrayed me. My first girlfriend betrayed me. And my ex-wife did the same. And my sisters, to me, did the same. They never understood. my struggle. I never could go to a woman with anything with the exception of finding out a woman is talking about you behind your back when you tell them something is one of the most painful things you'll ever go through. Finding out that a woman you thought you loved is opening up her legs to another dude unless you pimping her and you know about it. It's an ultimate violation, folks. I'm sorry. I might have a woman on my arms who, this my hoe. I sell her. But if I didn't sell her to you or tell you to touch her, you violating. Might get killed. I might get beat up. I might call the police. This man touched my wife. You say I'm a snitch. I say you are something else of a curse word because you expect to be respected when you're being disrespectful. Bullies are like that. Bullies will tell you, I'm going to do what I want to do when I want to do it until you put a bullet in their behind. You can't beat them with your fists. You got to prove to them that you can't allow them to violate you or your property, so they got to get it. They don't see that, though. So the best thing Nicky could do, whether he's a snitch or not, I pose that scenario for you to decide for yourself what you see. And I pose this because most of your friends are telling on you. Most of your so-called buddies will sleep with your wife, probably already did, because they'll go back and say, yeah, I saw your man. He was with this girl, and they'll screw your wife. But your wife and your girlfriend, they're so good at keeping secrets that you'll never know it until they decide to tell you. So when I lived across town, dudes that I heard that slept with my ex-wife, I went to them face to face. You slept with my wife? Some of them said, yeah. And I said, well, if she ain't forced you to do it, you didn't rape her, what I'm going to do? I ain't fighting you. But at least I knew. So Nicky decides to take it in and listen to this. In doing that, Nicky set up his comrades. If you're going to hurt me, I'm going to hurt you. The Italian and the Jewish mafia was so upset with him, they couldn't get to him the way they wanted to. So they set up Shamika, who was the cause of all of this drama, and put a bullet in her head at a bar. And I think Nicky's nephew or Nicky's cousin or uncle, one of them put the bullet in her head. Now, that's the mother of his child. This is a serious game we playing now. Very serious. So I thank you for tuning in. I wanted to put that out there as a scenario because, you know, why people always got to convince you that they are so thorough. Why people, you know what? Snitches kill people. So you could be next to this dude that you think is 100. And he killed somebody right in front of you for you. And you think this dude is solid, but he's telling. You don't know. They did it to the Black Panther Party. They infiltrate everything. And the most honorable Elijah Muhammad says, wherever there's two people, one of them is a snitch. And when there's only one, you will tell on yourself. Yeah, nigga, I'm that boss. I'm that guy. It's a powerful thing. Jamil Salib Zamir out of Manning, South Carolina. My Cash App is $19 promotions lowercase. If you'd like to donate, you could donate to my Cash App. I would greatly appreciate it. You can also donate by sharing this video, and you can also donate by liking and sharing, mentioning me. Again, a lot of people that we've helped over the years, but very few of them, when they are having a good time, they don't call me and say, hey, Jamil, we having a good time. Come have a good time with us. No, they come to me when they're in trouble, and then when they're doing fine, they don't mention my name. People see that. People know that. And I'm not going to walk around telling people I help him, I help him, I help them. But man, I put people on in the shirt business. I put people on in the video business. I put people on in the photography business. I put people on in the weed business. 95% of these young boys that are now working good jobs, I put them on in the weed business. Dudes that came out of prison, I put them on the weed game. They can't tell you. I don't know why they won't. I don't know why they won't certify. Yeah, Keith he's cool. He's legit. Jamil is legit. But I did that. You understand me? In closing, I have a friend of mine. He's a Muslim brother. I always thought he had it easy, man. Just everybody loved him and all kind of stuff. And whenever he did things lackluster, man. He just pissed me off, man. I got so angry with him because it's like you got all these opportunities to do things and you just piss on him. He was my security because I was the minister at the time in Sumter. He was my security. He drove me around. He looked after me. You come near me, you got to get through him. One night, he was sleepy. And I told him I can drive myself home. I'll just drop you off and drive myself home. No, sir. I can't. No, sir. I'm driving you home. I say, well, which would you rather, brother? Would you rather drive me home and then you drive back to where you going and fall asleep and die? Or would you rather me drive home by myself and I'm alert and 9 times out of 10 nothing gonna happen to me? He said, man, it's the same to me. If something happens to you, it's like it's happening to me. That became my blood brother that night. You understand what I'm saying? So when he started climbing up the ladder of success, I got bitter in my soul. I got jealous in my soul of my brother. So I told him, look, man, I'm not going to hang around you anymore because I'm jealous of you. I don't want to know nothing about your life because me and you, next time we see each other, we're going to be 100. I'm not going to sabotage your life or try to screw your girl or none of that. We are going to separate because I'm jealous. Your life seems to be going very, very well right now. I think the guy's a millionaire now. I don't know. We talk every now and then. We went to the range together. We ate a couple of times. I got some business for him, and he's always looked out for me. And if I call him today, he'll look out for me. He did some crazy stuff on the internet one time, and I'm like, what the hell are you doing? Take that down. I don't want to see you fail. My point being, you don't have to kill a person that you're jealous of or you don't like. Just leave him alone. I left him alone, and we're Muslim brothers. We friends for life. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? There are other ways around this BS that we're doing. I thank y'all for tuning in. This Jamil Salibs of me. I think I told y'all my 3 stories. This Jamil Salibs of me out of Manning, South Carolina. I really hope that I don't, whatever you feel for me, I wish y'all would start tooting my horn, man, because golly, bro, for real. But thank y'all for tuning in.